Hey guys, good morning. I've been looking at this spot here next to the house. I got a project in mind. It's a little messy. The dogs used to come here and bury their bones and then come and get them again. So I'm planning on doing something with this area. Right now it looks a little bit shabby. We have some of these here. We took them out. Well, my wife took them out. She planted them over there. And I think we're gonna transfer uh, part of this area for what I need to do. I drew it up on the computer. I have a design done, and now I'm in the process of getting the space ready. I haven't gotten the materials, so we're gonna see what we're gonna do and see how it's gonna look. All right, later. Okay, so it stopped raining. It was coming down. Everything got pretty wet, and I managed to do this just in time before it start raining. So this area, it was getting kind of messy. This is where the dogs used to go and bury their bones, and Papa would go in there, and I would enjoy him. I would have just those are those hummingbirds that come in, drink water and stuff. I would enjoy see Papa in there, and he would bury the bone, and he was like seasoning the bone. 10 minutes later, we'll go get it, and then sit down and eat it. I said, "What are you doing?" So this is what I did here. Between my wife and me, we carried this stuff. These slabs. They're 70 pounds. Repeat, 70 pounds each. I had to haul 6 of them and move them 4 times because from the store to the cart, from the cart to the truck, to the truck to the dolly here. So 4 per stone. There was 6 of them, and I sprained my left wrist, and now it's feeling a lot better. So there's one in the bottom, one in the top, and you have the little stones in between. So we got this done just before the rain, and the original idea was to do a water fountain here in the center, and we started looking at fountain. I wanted to get the one that's like the tower. I didn't want to get nothing against the wall. I just wanted something standing on its own. And we went to a local place here, and they have one that was just regular cement looking. It didn't have no color. They wanted $800, and I'm going. Then we started looking online, and they have one that had the nice slate stone, and you can see the ripples in the water. It was really pretty, really nice looking. I said, okay, I like that one. We called the store, $1,600. That's what I said. Forget the fountain. Let's do another tower here in the center. That's what we did. We got that one. So that's done. So it looks nice, I think. It kind of cleaned up that area, and everything is symmetrical. Everything is at different symmetries. So I'm gonna go to the garage and smoke a cigarette. There's nothing else to do when it's weather like this. Okay, so I'm gonna light up a Arturo Fuente Rosado Reserve. It says Rosado means pink. I don't know why they call it pink Grand Reserve. It's a good cigar. Got a very good aroma. Last night we went to this gathering of old Cubans, and it was just they're trying to it's a social club, so they're trying to bring fresh blood, new people into the club, because the club used to be pretty big, and all the people's been dying off. They're in their 70s, 60s, 70s, 80s. Most people there, they were a little older than me, 79, like that. And there was only one table with young people. There must have been 6 of them, and I think they were the sons and daughters of the people that were there. And oh, and there was a little group outside smoking cigars. That's why I got a cigar. That they were playing. They were talking about golfing, and that's not my thing. But they were talking about doing golf, and they were younger. They were in their 40s. So what they did was they had a you pay a fee, obviously, get in if you're not a member. But they had a little box with cheese and cold cuts, grapes, two types of cheese. The Gouda was really good. Crackers, little hot peppers, but they weren't hot. And then wine. You get a free wine, a glass. And then you can ask, they were offering white, rosé, and red. So we had like three different. And then if you like it, there was a guy selling wine. If you like it, you buy a bottle. So we did. And you get a free cigar with each box. So it's just a little hors d'oeuvre thing. And then later, they were serving pork sandwiches with croquettes, and they had pastries and things like that. It wasn't bad. Okay. I haven't been smoking much lately because my time is being consumed by the boat. This is the time when you say, okay, I think I want to get rid of the boat because it's more expensive, more expensive. So now the insurance wants me to double clamp every hose on the engine, and I'm going, that wasn't required before. Why are you asking for this now? First they said anything below the waterline, and everything below the waterline is double clamped. The water intake, the valves, everything's double clamped. Now they want everything on top of the engine, the antifreeze and the little hoses, the gasoline going up to the carb. All that double clamping. I said, geez. So I was gonna go today, but it was raining, and I said no. And then tomorrow it's gonna be gloomy and overcast. I'm not going tomorrow either. The raw water pump is doing this, and the inspector, I forgot his name now. He told me, hey, that pump has to be adjusted. And I said, well, I tried, but so what I have to do is remove the belts, remove the two hoses. There's nothing pressuring, pulling this way or that way. Loosen it up, push it back, make sure it's flat against the plate, and then tighten it. And then crank it and see if it's straight. And if it is, then I'll connect everything back in. So I gotta do that too. I talked to the yard because I need to get it painted. It hasn't been painted in 10 years. When I talked to the yard, I told him about the lights that I want to install. And he says, well, are you going to cut holes in it? And I said, no, 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 no. This is not going to be under the, uh, the bottom there. It's going to be in the transom. And I got little screws, and I'm just going to go zip, put them on there. The electrical is done. The wiring is there. All I have to do is connect it to the transom. Can I do that? And he goes, well, maybe I'll let you, because they don't want people walking around in the yard. If they get hurt, if they get hurt, then, they don't want to get sued or something. I said, if you want, I'll just stand by and I'll tell the guy where I want him. I could just mark him, put an X, and say, put it here, here, and I can step back and let him do it if you want to do it that way. You go, okay, we'll talk about it. It's okay. So he sounds easygoing. And the yard told me that they can't do any work on the boat because they're doing some construction work. Half the yard is closed off. They don't have a full crew. So he told me there's nothing much we can do right now. We're going to have to wait about 2 weeks. I was going to go around the other side to Redondo Beach because I talked to the guy there, the owner, and he says, yeah, you can work on your boat. I said, good. But then now with the gas the way it is, I calculated the miles and what the boat burns. It's going to cost me $500 just to go there. Round trip. Extra $500 on top of what I'm paying for the paint and paying for the valves, and all this other stuff. So I canceled. I said, no, I'm not going. I'm going to go to the one in Long Beach. and see how that, you know, it's right there next to me, so I don't have to do that trip over there. I didn't mind doing the trip. I didn't figure on the fuel. I said, well, it's gonna be some money on the fuel, but not that much. But now, I mean, if I can just do it across the other side, I can go there with one engine, you know. Okay, then, oh yeah, Arturo Fuente made pretty good cigars. So, uh, the next step was the valves. Those valves are pretty hard to get to the way they are now. So I went already to a couple of places, and I got a stretched out elbow that's going to bring that hose. Right now the hose is pretty close to the box, so it's going to bring the hose out a good 3.5, almost 4 inches, and I'd be able to put my hand in between there and grab the valve and cycle it. But the valve that I have there now, it looks like it's frozen. It's not moving because there's no way for me to get in there. So what I did is I put a little piece of pipe, and I can only move maybe an inch, not even an inch. So I'm not sure if the thing is frozen. Maybe it needs a little tapping or whatever, and kind of work it and spray some lubricant and stuff. The mechanic told me, the guy that I know, he says that he can change the valves in the water. And I'm not worried about water coming out because it'll come in, but it's not like what you see in the Three Stooges that you have this, you know, this squirting water coming up like 5 feet high. It'll come in, but I said, you know what? I don't see how you're going to be able to do this in the water by yourself because you don't want me there to help you. How are you going to get down there? There's no room for anything. There's no room for any tools. So you need some specialty tools that I don't have. And I do have a pipe remover with an air gun, with an air gun that you change tires. It's an impact gun. And he says, oh, that's going to crack the fiberglass. It's going to start leaking. And I said, no, you put it inside the pipe and you go, you know, and you break the seal because every pipe has that red thread seal. It's like a glue. You got to break that. And then it'll go, right? But he said, no, you know, he doesn't really trust that way of doing it. He wants to do it with leverage. And I said, you can't get your hand in there. How are you gonna? He's gonna have to dismantle half the hoses in the transmission, and I don't know how he's gonna do it. So I said, you know, if this is gonna be a mess of hoses and cables you gotta remove, and ground cables, and maybe the linkage has to be removed because it goes over it. All this stuff, you know, do it out of the water. So I said, I'm gonna give it to the yard. Let the yard do it. They already gave me a price, but a superficial price, I call it. I talked to the manager and I say, hey, you know, I'll bring the boat over, or you, if you want to come. He said, no, I can come over and look at it. And I can tell you right there, you know, when we can do it and how much. Okay, so we're gonna do that next week. Sometimes when the weather's it's okay, I'm gonna call and say, okay, I'm here. You can stop by any time. And give me a price on removing. Now the right engine facing forward, the right engine, the starboard, it's a lot easier to get to, even though you can't get your hand in there. But it's you have a little more opening. But the one on the left, oh my God, you can't even get your hand in there. So how they gonna remove those things? I don't understand. It's like if the engine was off, you know. I blew it. I should have done this valve on the right when the engine was out. Then you have room to put a big, you know, adjustable wrench into put a pipe on it, and you got room to go click and break the seal and then rotate it, pop it out. You should have done that one, but the one on the left, that's why I say, you know what, give it to professionals. This guy's gonna start hammering and hitting and stuff, and something's gonna break or crack, or and he's not. He doesn't like to take responsibility for any damage that he does. This guy, I've known him for a long time. He's not the neatest worker, and he says he doesn't want me on board when he's doing the job. He says, I'll call you when it's ready. You can come and pay me, and da da da. And I said, well, don't you want me to be there? No, because you're always, you make me nervous. He says, because I boss him around. And I said, okay, I understand, because I do that sometimes. It's just that he does things. He doesn't prepare the area to work. He could be stepping on grease, and then he steps on top of the deck, and no paper, no cardboard, no nothing. Then I had to come behind him and start cleaning, and I already cost him off the other day because he went to the boat and he came in with dirty shoes. And I said, dude, every time I clean the boat, every time you show up, there's tracks all over the place. And I said, you get your butt over here and you clean it. So he came with a sprayer and he sprayed it. But he's always, and I said, no, I'm getting fed up with that, because he when he painted the bilge, he slots paint on hoses. Now I gotta clean cables. I gotta clean hoses, because I'm not that type. I don't like things sloppy like that. I like things organized and neat and thank you. Nice. This is the best thing with a cigar is coffee. My kind of coffee. So I gotta get all this stuff done for the insurance. Then the engine is acting up a little, not as smooth as the other one. I don't know if because it's tight, it's new, it doesn't have not even 2 hours of running time. So I went to the shop Friday, and I told the guy, I said, hey, listen, this is what's going on. And he says, did you check your points? And I'm going, my points? He goes, check the spark plugs, check the points. And I said, well, I think it might be the carburetor. So what do you think? How do you actually adjust it? So he told me how to do it properly. Warm it up, make sure it's an idle, and then go down there and tweak it. Okay, so I'm going to do that because I call a mechanic. He wants $180 an hour in 3 hours. He wants to work. And I said, to adjust the carburetor, you're going to need 3 hours. Oh no, but you want to take it out? And I said, well, yeah, but I can't. Give me a break. Can you do everything for 1 hour? Yeah, I'll pay you. But I started thinking, if just about that, I'm gonna check the timing too. I got a timing gun. If it's just about carburetor adjustment, I'll do the adjustment. If it still does it, that it bogs down, because I already went through the car, through the fuel lines, the valve, the filter, the fuel burning sensor, the whole thing, everything's clean. I even removed the little glass filter because it was clean, but I blew through it and it wasn't exactly flowing as freely as when you blow from the other side. So where it says in, you blow, it's a little harder than where it says out. Kind of weird. So I said, you know what? Let me just do it straight. Take it out. And I already did a fuel pump pressure test. It's pumping out 4.5, 5, sometimes almost 6. That's fine. So it's pumping. So I have a feeling that it's going to be the carburetor, that it's got too much air going in. But this guy told me, the shop told me, if you look at the spark plug and they're black, it's because you're burning too much fuel. So you got to trim it. So I got to do all these things. I got to check it. If I can't figure it out, if I can't get this thing working properly and it keeps bugging down, then I'm going to have to call the mechanic and pay him $180, which is ridiculous. Everybody's getting so expensive. So that's why I did that work in the patio. I needed time off from the boat because the boat is taking all the time. It's taking all my time, and I got other things to do. I haven't done much with the truck. I've taken it out a couple of times, drove it around. I haven't really tested the truck, going up a hill or anything. So I've been doing it easy. I go on this trip, and then there's a flat loop, and gets back on the freeway, and then back here again. So I haven't done the pass. I haven't gone through the Cajon Pass, or haven't gone through the Grapevine. The Grapevine is the one that's really steep. That's the one that I should be doing the testing with the truck. So I haven't had time to do anything with that. I still got to work on the blazer. I got to put it together. Got to put all the hardware back in. The roll bar. I got two Bilstein's shocks that I want to put in the front, and I got the other setup that goes in the steering. Two double shocks for the steering in the front. I still gotta put the dash back in, and one thing is, Jesus, it's like I'm overwhelmed. I finally got the bike running. I put a new battery, and it runs okay. It runs good, and I adjusted the light in the front. It was a little high, so this is ready to go. But I don't like to stop projects to do something else. I like to finish what I started. So I did the patio is because I started that, and I said I gotta finish it. The boat has got a lot more stuff to do. My humidor was dry. You know what? I don't think I want to finish this. It's getting cold in here. You know what? I'm gonna let it die. I'm not gonna smoke this. I bit my tongue, so I'm over here like, yeah. Oh my God, I bit my tongue. Burning. Okay, guys, I'm gonna let you go because there's not that much going on. I just wanted to show the little gardening work, and those things are 70 pounds each. Those lamps, man, they're heavy. But I got it done. All right, guys, I'll let you go. I'll see you on the next one. Next time I video, I'll probably be on the boat again. All right, take it easy.